Hello and welcome to this week's Ruby Shoes podcast, delivering the very best local entertainment news across East Anglia each and every week. Now, this week on the Ruby Shoes podcast is the final one of 2024, and we've got a huge panto star who's extremely well known for his exquisite dance moves, as well as his sense of humour. Plus, one final Christmas present idea if you're still struggling. And as always, we've got a roundup of some of the region's top shows which are coming your way very soon, and you might not want to miss them. Now, our final panto interview of 2024 is none other than the TV and dance sensation that is Louie Spence. Louie Spence chatting to you in the green room backstage here at the Ipswich Region Theatre, because you're going to be in panto this year. Very, very excited to have you here because you're Spirit of the Beans.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you about that character in a minute, but lots of things I want to talk to you about. Let's start nice and easy. If you weren't chatting to me here at the Region Theatre, what would you be doing on a typical day? What's a typical day for Louie Spence?
Well, I mean, at this time, because we had an early start this morning, I'd be either plumping up my cushions on the sofa, putting my dog blankets on, because the dogs are welcome everywhere in my house, but I've still got to protect the sofa, do you know what I mean, darling? And the blankets are easy to wash, where the sofa covers, Anyway, so I digress. Then I would be having a cup of coffee. I would be checking my emails. Decaf latte, by the way. Don't do caffeine. Imagine me on caffeine, nightmare. So then I would be checking my emails. Then I would most probably, if I haven't got a work commitment, go swimming. I love swimming. Yeah, I try and swim like most days, at least 4 or 5 times a week. I swim about a mile a day. I love it. It's nice and easy, good for the heart, good for the lungs, good for the mind. So do that. Come home. My husband would have been shopping for lunch. Then he'd be cooking lunch. We'll have lunch. Then we'll take the dogs for a walk. And then we'll come back and then we'll watch something like... It used to be Escape to the Country. I'm over that now. A lot of repeats. So it's normally like something like Brits Abroad, which is quite funny, because we've got a house in Spain as well. My husband's Spanish. And then anything to do with renovations, makeovers, any of those shows, I Brought a Village, that one, whatever it is, all of those.
Love that.
Yeah, but some of them aren't villages. I'm sorry, I'm really unhappy when they do that. They say it's a farm with some barns. Now, they're saying 200 years ago the people used to live there. They didn't even live there then. Some of them are villages, but now they're literally going off kilter a bit, which does annoy me.
They've run out of villages.
Yeah. Which I get it, but don't try and fool us with,
Just say, I bought a farm.
Well, I bought a farm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. And then literally in the winter it'll be 5 o'clock fire on, because heating goes off at 5, and then we start using the fires.
Okay.
The wood burners, which is nice. 6 o'clock bath, 6:30 tea, 9 o'clock up in bed, an hour and a half on the laptop or on the iPad, sleep, wake up, repeat.
Sounds absolutely ideal.
Yeah, and if we're not doing that, we'd be in the house in Spain, doing a similar kind of thing, but with sun.
Lovely. Tell me something no one knows about Louie Spence.
I'm straight. I'm not gay at all. It's all a facade. I've made a fortune out of it. I've got 3 kids and a wife.
But they're hidden up.
5 grandchildren. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'll go with that. Tell me 3 things you like to travel with. It might be your own pillow, could be your own
I like to travel with my husband.
Yeah.
Propanadol for my anxiety. And what else do I travel all the time. And lip balm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very important this time of year.
Yeah.
You've done so much already, Louie, and I'm going to be asking you about these things. Tell me something that might still be on your list of things to do. Could be just personally, could be travelling somewhere you haven't been yet, or professionally, something you'd still like to achieve.
Something I'd still like to do. I think maybe just be at peace with myself doing nothing. That's what I'd like, rather than feeling I've always got to do something or I should be doing something. Enjoying the time doing nothing and letting it be okay to do nothing.
Okay. Have you been to the Ipswich region before, or Suffolk? Here in Suffolk, I'm just wondering if you've actually been here before.
I've never been to the Ipswich region. Now, I can't tell you if I've been to Suffolk. Now, my family's from, we're born in North London.
You're only across the border.
Exactly, we're born in North London, but then I went to Essex, moved to Essex when I was 5.
Yeah.
And then I moved back to London when I was 12. But all my family are in Essex, and I have a house in Essex now where I spend most of my time. And I can't... I think I may have been to Ipswich before when I was younger with dance or whatever, but it would have been in and out, I'm quite sure. But never been to the theatre. Yes, and we are very close, which is fortunate because it'll be the first time in 15 years I'll be able to actually stay at home and have a Christmas at home whilst I'm doing panto, because normally I'm so far away.
Yeah.
It's impossible, but now I could either get the train or I could drive in, which I think would take me about 50 minutes or 55 minutes. So,
So you can get your husband to do the Christmas dinner.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
you can say, I'll just arrive for dinner and relax, watch a bit of telly.
Well, actually, like I say, to actually be able to sleep in my own bed, it's incredible. I've never done it in all the years I've done panto, so that's very exciting.
Looking forward to that. We can't chat to you, Louie, without asking you about Pineapple Dance Studios.
Yeah.
Tell me one of the highlights from that, because, you just burst onto our screens and you are a household name because of it.
Yeah, I think... the highlight. I think there's many highlights from it. I just think the aftermath of it was a huge highlight. I never really thought what happened would happen. We did a show which was an observational documentary, and never expected, all the wonderful things what happened after to happen. So I think there's so many highlights. There's not just one.
Yeah.
I suppose it's the whole aftermath of it. It's one massive highlight and unexpected bonus. And like I say, just really did not expect it. So, but I've run with it.
Yeah, you certainly have. Now, you've appeared on many celebrity TV shows.
Anything with celebrity in it, darling. If it's got celebrity, I've done it.
Most recently, Help My House is Haunted and Celeb Cooking Show for E4. You got to the semi-finals in that.
Yeah.
Which, out of all the celeb TV stuff you've done, has been your favourite so far?
I think I did one called Celebs on the Ranch, where we went to Arizona and stayed on a ranch for a month. Which was amazing because I absolutely love animals, and we got to horse ride and there was dogs and cows, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And and I did Celebs on the Farm. I told you anything with celeb in it. Loved, because I love the animals. I did The Jump, which was a skiing kind of show, and you had to do the jump. That was a wonderful thing because I learned something. I learned to ski, and it was a wonderful experience. Whereas some of them, I'm just going on there just being a high-kicking gay with a speech impediment. Do you know what I mean? Which is fine. But then, like I say, some of them you learn something or you get something out of it, which is great. Apart from the paycheck, you get other things out of it. So they're the ones I enjoyed, the ones with the animals and the ones where you achieve something.
You said at the very beginning of the interview about your anxiety. You've been very public and you've shared that, which has helped so many other people to be okay with anxiety. Yeah. In this industry that you've been in now for your whole career, how do you manage it personally? Because you're kind of turning up the temperature on your anxiety, surely, in something like this.
I think that I've had it all my life from literally, I can remember my first anxiety attack was when I was walking home from a youth club and had this feeling come over my body like I was going to pass out. And it was the beginning of like a physical anxiety, but I didn't understand it then. So I've always had it. My mum suffered with it, my sister suffered with it, my cousin suffered with it. Whether it's genetic or not, I don't know, but we're a very anxious family with different forms of it. I don't have an anxiety of performance. You could put me in front of 10,000 people. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. What bothers me is the fact that I may get a feeling of anxiety when I'm on there. It's not that I'm anxious for what I'm doing or having the people. It's a thing that has no rhyme or reason and can come on at any time. It's the feeling of it that makes me anxious. So I could be performing on stage and get that feeling, then the panic sets in that it's going to go into a full-blown panic attack, anxiety attack or whatever. Am I going to get through? It's not doing what I'm doing, it's the unpredictability. And like I say, and it's still, I'm so much more in control of it at the age I am now. But it's like sometimes it's never ending, and it feels like it's never going to end. And there's that side of the performance, the fun, the camp, all of that. But then the other side is battling every day with some form of anxiety. So to say I've learned to live with it, I have, but I don't like it.
Let's talk panto.
Yes.
You're here, you're at the Ipswich region, you're going to be in Jack and the Beanstalk. It's this December and your character is Spirit of the Beans.
Yes.
What is Spirit of the Beans going to be all
I think Spirit of the Beans is for, I played Spirit of the Beans a few times. I think it just entered into panto when they had somebody who was maybe in the public eye, like myself, who there wasn't really a role for as such, but it makes a great character, whether it's somebody who's like me who's camp, or somebody it's like who's a comedian or an actress. It just adds a bit more to the show. So I believe it's a character that's been created that adds joy, fun, happiness, whoever plays it. It's like
what we need at Christmas.
Yeah, it's like an Aladdin and Spirit of the Ring.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those characters. It's just to bring joy and laughter and happiness.
You're bringing joy today. You're dressed in bright green.
I am.
You've even got little pea pods on your shoulders and lots of feathers. I mean, who doesn't love a feather?
I know, and a little bit of sparkle as well to pick up in the lights.
Gorgeous. And your boots, of course.
I know. I've got my lovely Cha-Cha Laduca boots, which I'm loving. There's nothing like a bit of a heel on stage. It just works the leg line. I much prefer it.
It's going to be amazing. We're very much looking forward to seeing you, Louie. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Now, recently I interviewed the Mayor of Felixstowe, that's Councillor David Rowe. He's just produced the most beautiful local cookbook, which would make an ideal last-minute Christmas gift. So I'm here for Ruby Shoes podcast, and this time I'm in I think it's called, you refer to this as the council chambers, am I right, Mr. Mayor?
Well, this is just a room off the council chambers, yeah.
I'm trying to make it sound very glamorous.
We're trying to make it sound
Let's pretend we're in some sumptuous room. And I'm with the Mayor of Felixstowe, Councillor David Rowe. And the reason we're here is we do love to do book launches with the Ruby Shoes podcast, and you've brought out a fantastic book, all in aid of charity, and it's called Flavours of Felixstowe, the Mayor's Charity Cookbook, and it's a collection of local recipes. Tell me more, David. First of all, can I call you David?
Of course you can.
Is that okay?
That's great.
Sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Freudian slip there. What was the idea behind it? How did it come about, first of all?
Right, so when I first became mayor, I selected two charities, Langard Trust and Breast Friends, and we sat down and decided what sort of things we wanted to do to raise money for the coming year. And so we've already had a number of events, but one of the ideas was to have a cookbook, launch it around Christmas, but it isn't a Christmas cookbook, it could be sold all year. And it came from, and we can't really take credit for it, it came from Shalene Gledhill, David Gledhill's wife. She'd thought it was a good idea, and she then told David, and he came along, and we decided to try and get it together. So we've gone around a number of local restaurants, cafes, and they've given us their recipes that we can then put together into a book. And this is what we've now created.
And it's beautiful.
It is, yeah.
It's all full colour.
It's all full colour. Managed to get it sponsored by the BID, Business Improvement District. So what we've been able to do is improve the quality, and therefore every penny that you pay for the book, £10, goes to charity.
Yeah, and it's really lovely. I've already bought my copy. I've actually bought my copy with me because I bought mine at the weekend from Lovely Nutshells. Yeah. They were selling it, and you've got everything in here. You've got the Little Ice Cream Company who've done a gorgeous carrot cake. If I could make my sponges rise that high, that's by their chef Tracy Parker, I would be very happy. And then the Alex are in there as well. They've got pan-fried calf's liver with whole grain mustard mash and gravy. I mean, that's the sort of food we want this time of year, isn't it? Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I think the great thing about it is there's some really complicated recipes, which for those more ambitious cooks, but there are some really simple ones as well.
There's a cheese scone in there,
cheese scone from the CU. I think that was from the CU restaurant down Orford Road, and we've also added a couple. There's Felixstowe tart in there that you've probably heard of it, but perhaps didn't know how to make it.
That. I saw that and I thought, is that real?
Recipe. Yeah, yes, apparently it is.
Oh, okay.
Apparently somebody
tell me a bit more about Felixstowe tart.
Well, I don't really know much about it, but somebody reckoned that it was it's something that's apparently historical to Felixstowe. I'm sure there'll be people out there who have been making it for years. And a local resident, Nev and Jill Farthing, said, "Oh, we know the recipe. We've been making it for years, and this is the recipe." So apparently, I'm sure you either know about it or you don't, probably. And
so you need to buy the book.
You need to buy the book so you could get the recipe, and then next time you have a dinner party or anything like that, you can really impress by.
I'm literally going to do that because I didn't know about Felixstowe tart. Now, tell me as well about Felixstowe fish and chips, because we've got so many fish and chip shops. Was there one that you kind of chatted to on the side and said, "Look, I don't want to upset everybody, but I need a recipe for fish and chips"?
The fish and chips is a bit of a difficult one, because we went round a number of fish and chip restaurants, and they wouldn't tell us what their batter was made of.
Because it's top secret, isn't it?
So, in the end, I have to say this was actually put together by David Gledhill, who organised the book from Langard Trust, and he came up with this as the recipe that they use for his fish and chip fillies at home. So that's what he did.
Well, good for David, actually, and I think that's absolutely right.
So you do have. We couldn't not put it in.
No,
there had to be a recipe for fish and chips. Living by the sea with so many good restaurants for fish and chips around, that we had to have a recipe. So we had to sort of improvise on that one.
Nothing wrong
with that. All the
rest
are real, genuine recipes. And we're really grateful to the restaurants because they've really got behind it. Some of them have been delighted, actually, many of the chefs, that their skills are finally being recognised in a book.
Yeah, it's nice to see the chef names in there as well.
Yeah, some didn't want to be named, but those that have want to be named have been named. Some perhaps didn't want to come forward and say who they were.
Well, chefs are very often very, very introvert, very shy.
Yes, yeah.
And that's why they spend a lot of time in the kitchen, quite rightly so, I think. Yeah. But they have amazing skills. Yeah. There's a couple of lovely soup recipes as well.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, that's what's so great about it, that it doesn't just cover one type of food. It actually covers, soup, starters, right through to cakes and scones and, main courses.
It's your whole month's menu, really, isn't it? So
Yes.
Now, it's printed by the Flyer Press.
It is, yeah. And they've helped design it as well.
It's beautifully
we gave them all
designed.
The stuff. And
it really is lovely.
We took some of the photographs and then we gave it all to them, and they managed to sort of put it into a really good format. So
I'm glad you mentioned photographs, because the photographs are particularly good, and it's really hard to get good food photography. Yeah. They make you want to dive in with your spoon and eat them straight away. Yeah. So who was in charge of photography, and how did you get
some of the photography we got from the actual restaurants themselves. So some of the chefs were making the dishes and then got somebody to take the photographs for us. We then had some help from the Langard Trust, who've got people who also are very good at that sort of thing, and they came and helped us as one of the charities to put together some of the photographs. Because you're right, it's not like taking a scene or something like that.
No,
because you have
really
to get
not.
Really close up, and if you're not careful, they don't sort of look very good sometimes. So
you
have to try and make them look appetising, and they actually really do. I mean, when I first saw it, we weren't quite sure what it was going to look like. Originally, we weren't going to do it in such high quality because we weren't sure what the budget was going to be. We were going to put a sort of ring bind around it, which I'm sure the recipes would have been as good, but it just wouldn't have looked such a good gift.
This is a proper kind of coffee table cookbook.
And I think
you want this on your coffee table when friends come over and say, "Oh, I love your cookbook. Let me have a read." And that's exactly what's going to go in mine.
Yeah, and then you can tell them where to go and buy it as well, so they can buy one as well. And loads of people we stood at the lights when the lights were put on in Felixstowe. We had a small stand, and loads of people were coming up and buying them because they wanted to either send them to people who used to live in Felixstowe who they knew, or they were buying them for Christmas gifts or for Secret Santas or whatever else it might be that they had plans for. So it is really fantastic. And the great thing about it is that with this book, you're getting good value for money, but you're also giving money to charity as well.
You are. And the other thing is, David, it's not all just restaurants and cafes that have given you recipes. There's another piece in there, isn't there, from the wine boutique. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, we wanted to involve the wine boutique, and when we contacted them, they said they would recommend a wine to go with each of the recipes. So for each of the recipes, they've recommended at least one, sometimes two wines that complement the food. And there's even a wine to go with the cheese scone. Oh. So if you're feeling rather indulgent over Christmas, that's the thing to do. Make your cheese scones and buy a bottle of wine and have with it.
And then final thing, just go over where we can buy them from again, please.
Yeah, so as you said, you were in Nutshells and you managed to get your book, but you can buy them in town from Ruby and Scarlet. You can buy them from Co's. You can buy them from the CU restaurant. And you can also buy them here at the town hall.
That's perfect.
So or if anyone still can't get one, if they just ring the town hall or contact us, then we'll make sure that you're directed into the right place.
Yeah. Now these books, they're not going to be about forever, are they? So people need to get them now.
Oh yes,
because when they're gone, they're gone.
They're gone. I mean, we've had some printed. We might get another round printed, but after that, that's likely to be it. This won't be a book that you can think, well, I'll leave it a few months and buy it then, because they are selling really, really fast, and we were quite surprised actually. The printer originally struggled to keep up with demand, so we were having to.
That's a nice problem to have.
That's a good problem to have. Yes, yeah. But I think he didn't even realise how popular they would actually be. So they're £10, but I would say it's good value for money, and the great thing is it goes to charity.
Definitely. Councillor David Rowe, Mayor of Felixstowe, thank you so much.
That's all right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Wonderful initiative.
Thank you for letting me come and speak to you.
And if not a cookbook as a Christmas gift idea, then what about a gift token for one of our beautiful and historic theatres? What could be better? Here are even more great shows you just might want to check out.
What's on across Suffolk with Stephanie McIntyre, sponsored by Ruby Shoes Podcast, your weekly entertainment news podcast. Available from your smart speaker, Apple, Spotify, or you just follow Ruby Shoes Podcast on Facebook and click on the weekly podcast link to listen.
There's a host of great shows on offer across Suffolk's magnificent theatres, and here's just a selection to tempt you. Suffolk's biggest panto, Jack and the Beanstalk, is now on at the Ipswich Regent Theatre. Join them in the land of fairy tales where poor hero Jack and his dotty mum, Dame Trot, Gavin Ashbury, are tricked into selling their beloved cow Daisy for a useless bag of beans. Laugh at silly Simon, funny man Mike Squeaky McLean. You can boo and hiss at the wicked flesh creep, that's Michael Greco from EastEnders fame. And cheer on hero Jack, actor Peter Lavery, as he climbs the beanstalk to rescue his sweetheart Jill, TikTok sensation Abby Budden from The Giant's Castle in the Clouds. Also starring TV and dance sensation Louie Spence as Spirit of the Beans. But hurry, as Jack and the Beanstalk is only running until Tuesday the 31st of December. For your tickets, go to ipswichtheatres.co.uk. Friday the 27th and Saturday the 28th of December at the Key Theatre in Sudbury, join them for Nicky Tricks, the comedy Christmas cracker show. Get ready to laugh your way through the holiday season with this festive extravaganza, which is filled with hilarious comedy magic, silly puppets and plenty of holiday cheer. The Nicky Tricks Comedy Christmas Cracker Show is a perfect way to celebrate. Go to keysudbury.com to find out more. Sleeping Beauty is now in full swing at the Spa Pavilion in Felixstowe and runs until Wednesday the 1st of January. This all-new version of a classic tale of devilment and daring do promises lashings of laughter, frantic frivolity, gloriously glittering costumes, a spectacular set, and plenty of "He's behind you." It's the 59th Dennis Lowe Theatre Company pantomime, and it's written and directed by Susie Lowe. Complete with a plucky heroine, a villain you'll love to hiss at, and plenty of pantomime carry-on. It's all bound up in a truly enchanting story. Go to spapavilion.uk for your tickets. Bags too heavy? Call for Aladdin, the bellboy who currently works at the Grand Ebenezer Hotel, aka the Theatre Royal in Bury St Edmunds. Clothes need a clean? Visit Washi in the laundry. Want to meet the owner? Well, don't. Abanazar is vile and vain and secretly longs to rule the land. If only he could find a way to make his every wish come true. Join Aladdin and his friends as they try to defeat the hotelier from hell. Go to theatreroyal.org for more details. Performances are running through till Sunday the 12th of January. Sleeping Beauty is also at the new Wolsey Theatre as their rock and roll panto this year. Join Princess Aurora and her fiery friend Milo the Dragon on a time-warping adventure through the mystical realm of Ipswich. It's full of secret spells, spindles and the unstoppable force of love. To book your tickets, you can go to wolseytheatre.co.uk with performances running until Saturday the 18th of January. And finally, Red Rose Chain Theatre Company brings you Pinocchio at the Avenue Theatre in Ipswich. It features the traditional characters, but when Geppetto, a poor carpenter, finds a piece of wood that can talk, he carves it into a puppet and is overjoyed when it miraculously comes alive. The next morning, Pinocchio, the puppet, sets off to school, but is easily led astray by temptation, selling his ABC book to buy a ticket to a puppet show. In a madcap chain of disasters, he meets with a host of other extraordinary characters, including a talking cricket, a blue fairy and a giant shark. Pinocchio learns to dance and sing, but will he ever learn the qualities it needs to make him into a real boy? To find out, book your tickets on redrosechain.com. It's on until Sunday the 5th of January. Finally, as it's our last Ruby Shoes podcast of 2024, I'm Steph McIntyre and I just wanted to say thank you for listening. You're helping to support our many fantastic live theatres here in East Anglia. Have the most amazing Christmas and I wish you and yours a happy and healthy and prosperous 2025. We're performing, that's Steve and I, for New Year's Eve, so a few more rehearsals to fit in before the big night. So the next Ruby Shoes podcast will be in the new year and that's on Monday the 6th of January. Until then, have a great time and happy Christmas and have a wonderful new year.